Up to this point, everything I've built in the shop has been done on top of my table saw. It's worked out well, but I am super happy to finally have a real workbench in here. Make sure to watch the video so you can see where I struggled and how I built it. So with this project, I didn't cut any dados or rabbets, and I was going to rely on pocket screws and glue to fasten the cabinet assembly. And I changed my mind a little bit. I think I'm going to use Dominoes, which are these little things here, and use a machine that cuts a little mortise, and then these slip in the pocket and align your pieces with that. It's a lot stronger, and I haven't used them before, so this is a good opportunity for me to learn. So these are going to be the legs for my assembly table. And what I did was I took 4x4 Douglas fir, I squared it down to 3 1/8 on the bandsaw, which worked out really well. And then over on the table saw here, I cut this little shoulder out of it. And the reason I did that was to actually use this face here of it as the style for the face of the cabinet. So the rails will actually attach in here. I think it's gonna look really, really clean, and it's gonna be a little extra work, but no big deal. But that's what I'm up to. some leveling pads to the bottom of my assembly table, but I've got a little bit of a problem. These are really long, which I can cut down, that's not a big deal, but I don't want them to protrude too far past the 4x4 legs unless it really needs it for unevenness. What I came up with was making these little plates here. This is a 3x3 square of mild steel, and then I machined up a couple bungs out of 3/4 inch round stock that's drilled and tapped for a 3/8/16 thread. I'm going to take a 3/4 inch Forstner bit, 3/4 inch Forstner bit, drill into the bottom of the cabinet, and then this will sit in so it's level with the plywood, and then this will bolt on the bottom, and then I can screw this in like such. I'll trim down the length, and I will put a slot in the top so I can adjust it from inside. I think it's going to work great and help me keep my table level. So on this side of the assembly table, I'm going to hold all my Festool stuff. They have those little sustainers they come in, and I'm going to build pull-out shelves on both sides of this and then stack up my Festool equipment in there. When I built this, I gave myself a 1/2 inch overhang on both sides, thinking that this would hide the slider. The problem is that the slider hits there, so I can't have that. So what I did was I picked up an inexpensive flush trim bit for my router. I'm going to rip this off, and the reason I got an inexpensive one is because I've got pocket screws here and there, and I think I'm going to hit them with this trim router. I don't want to, waste a really good bit on this, so I'm probably going to end up destroying the bit, but that's why I got an inexpensive one to begin with. So that's where I'm at. I'm having a blast. It's looking really cool, and I'm very excited to start using it. You ever have one of those days where it doesn't matter how hard you try, you still screw up? I mean, you're paying attention, you're double checking, you're doing tests, but you still make a mistake. Let me show you mine. These are the sides for my pull-out shelves. This is the front and the back of the pull-out shelf. This fits in here nice tight joint. I'm not worried about that gap there because there will be a face on it. The problem is that I needed my front and back to look like this. Unfortunately, I did 12 of them that look like this. Little different, doesn't work at all. So I sort of scrapped all 12 of these. I'm gonna have to start over. Not that big of a deal, it's not that much wood, it's just time. And right now, it's what I'm in it for, to learn to become better. Good lesson learned, give me more time. Seems like I've been working on this project for a long time, but I gotta tell you, I am really thrilled to finally have a workbench in the shop. Some of the features I really like about it, it's got these drop casters on it so I can move it where I need it, set it down. I made the little leveling pads so that I can adjust it because the concrete in here has a slope to it. I like these pullouts for all my Festool equipment. It's gonna make it a lot easier just to keep things organized. And then having these stationary shelves, I'm a big fan of organizing stuff. Couple areas of opportunity for me. You know, I started with 4x4 on all this Douglas fir, and I had a hard time with maintaining proper thickness across the whole piece, consistency. I used a hand plane on a lot of things, but it really was a problem for me at some points. If I had a planer, would have made things a lot easier. The next biggest thing is I always intended to use the dowels on the ends because I like how it looks, but I wish I would have done the dowel and the glue up all at the same time. The way I did it, I glued these up first and then doweled it, and those faces are not really squared up. The dowels would have helped that. So remember it for next time. Down the road, I'm going to be adding some dog holes to this and also a vise. So make sure you subscribe and like and all that other stuff you got to do so you don't miss those videos. Thanks a lot.